everyone, and welcome back to another episode here of the Lonely Wrist Podcast. I am your host, as always, Blake Ray. Today, we have yet another amazing special guest on the line, somebody who I think is breathing life back into historic watch brands, and mind you, one brand at a time. Joining us is Tom van Wijlick, the visionary behind the organizational group CDMLEC, which is the company that is responsible for reviving heritage brands like Airain, Lebois Co, and also has a bracelet company, Fixoflex, which you may have heard of. Tom, which is based in the Netherlands, is not only reviving these brands, but under his leadership, CDMLEC's goal is preserving the history of these brands, making something special for the next generation of watch collectors to share, wear, and pass on his heirlooms. Everyone, please welcome the man behind the brand and today's epic podcast guest, Tom van Wijlick.
Thank you, Blake. Well, that was quite the introduction.
I
think that pretty much sums it up, right?
We could just stop recording at this point. Is that what?
Why not? Grab a beer. Oh no, you're not around. You know, it's a few hours flying. So.
Yeah, next time. I think I tried to do some justice for you, and I took it from one of my friends who
thank you,
also a podcaster, and he was like, whenever you ask somebody to introduce themselves, you get this like mixed bag of like really weird, awkward responses and like, you know, really like ranting responses where they like be like, oh, so I was born in this day and on this, you know, and you get this.
And I'm a mother, said, and I'm my dad. Yeah.
So I've tried to take over that responsibility.
Very smart.
So let's start at the very beginning. You know, obviously CDMLEC with the glowing illuminated cool light behind you.
Thanks. Yeah.
You know, how did you, I guess, start the company, and like what gave you the idea to kind of like acquire these historically significant watch brands?
Yeah, let's skip the whole long introduction. Over the past years, I mean, I've been doing this, so Lebois Co since 2014. That's how it started. I've been doing this for 11 years, and I learned to do the brief introduction, as my wife a few years ago told me, like, Tom, whenever someone asks you about the brand or about what you're doing, that's so long. You don't have to start and to go over everything. So I recognize a little bit what you're saying about ranting. So, short version, I've been a watch enthusiast as long as I can remember. I still have my first Swatch watch, which I'm still very fond of. I don't wear it, but that's I think it's a watch that I was 7 or 8 when I got it, and it was always there. You know, I always had these interesting watches. I kept most of them, and but I went into IT, so I wasn't, you know, I didn't study anything in the watchmaking business. It's not a thriving business around here. I rolled into IT, and I eventually started a company in IT together with a partner. That was in 2001, and that lasted until 2011. And then so I sold that company, the little company, small company, and I went to, you know, work for an employer. And at that point in time, I was still interested in watches, obviously, and I started trading some watches, just, you know, as a side hustle, hobby thing, and that eventually, brought me to the table of some independent watch brands in Switzerland, which was, you know, we had several very interesting discussions about e-commerce, what's happening there, you know, 2012, 2013, there was a lot of e-commerce going on for watch brands. So we thought, my cousin and I thought, okay, maybe we can do something for some brands in Switzerland. And we kind of opened one of these online boutiques. There wasn't a real card situation there. You couldn't press checkout, but you could at least browse the catalog and contact us to order a watch. And that was quite the beginning of some discussions with interesting brands. But at some point in 2013, my cousin and I parted, and he went on to work actually with an investor to build that company. And I was actually very intrigued by all the stories that I heard from these independent watch brands. And actually at that point in time, the coin flipped, so to say, as we say it. And I knew, okay, I want to have my own watch brand. And that was in 2013. And I already knew the stories about several watch brands that had disappeared and were brought back quite successfully. So that's when I decided to pursue that. So that's actually the short version of that story. And I was actually going through records online of watch brands that existed and were just free or for purchase or free to register. And I really went through a lot of lists, and there were several brands that I saw and recognized, including Universal Genève, obviously.
Missed that one, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I did contact the owners back then, but of course, yeah, they said no.
Right.
Because already they knew they wanted to have a very large sum, and I think they wanted a bigger partner for that. But in that same list there was Lebois Co, and Googling that name and finding a really gorgeous piece that was sold around 2 years before that by Christie's. I actually just fell in love with that brand, and the story is, and it's genuinely true, that I printed on advice of my back then girlfriend, now wife. I printed the watch and I stick it to our American fridge, with the little magnets. And my wife said, you should, print it and put it on the fridge, and you can look at it and get some inspiration of it. And the rest is, as they say, history. So that's where I started the journey of Lebois Co.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, it seems like, I mean, Airain is a whole separate beast, right?
Yeah.
And you acquired Airain later, if I understood it correctly, after Lebois Co.
Correct.
And then, like I have your Submarine, which I did a couple pieces of content on already, and hopefully
Very
more.
Cool.
But tell us about, I mean, even the acquisition process. And when you acquired these brands, did you just get like the namesake, or did you get a lot of the intellectual property, or like, obviously, from the moment you acquire a brand, right, to where you are today, I mean, it seems like you probably have to start all over.
Yeah, you do. I mean, there was literally nothing left of IP officially for Lebois. So I think I just went the logical way, which was contacting the original owners, who is the Dodin family in France, just across the border from Le Locle and La Chaux-de-Fonds. And I just asked them, do you know about this brand that existed under your umbrella of watch brands of your company? And Mr. Laurent, who passed away a few years ago, Laurent Dodin, he knew about this brand and some other brands that his father, Raymond Dodin, had possession of, and marketed in several ways and in several markets. And he said, but we don't actively pursue any of those. We just have our own, our one brand. So if you want to revive it, because I just told them about my plans, you're free to do so. So that was basically the green light to restart Lebois. And with Airain, we can zoom in on that a little later. But that was more of an acquisition because that actually belonged to an entrepreneur in Paris. So I had to buy some IP of him.
Wow. And then what was it too? Like, I mean, feel free to answer from different lenses. But I'm assuming that, you know, you had a certain criteria that you had to check, like whether it was historical significance or maybe like back catalog or maybe design cues that you're like, okay, this will do for me. Like what was the potential or the, you know, the core kind of identity that you were looking for when you're like, I mean, yeah, it sounds like you had a bunch of options really, and you kind of.
I had some options. Yeah, there were some options, but not just the design. I mean, let's be honest, the designs we're talking about, for instance, Lebois, we use them now as inspiration. So we can zoom in on that as well as how I see it as, you know, like a reissue and a piece that's really inspired by, but not really one-on-one reissue. There are, like Lebois had designs in history. There were numerous brands that had these same designs.
Yeah, Type 20.
So it wasn't Type 20 Airain, but for Lebois, these are like 1930s and 40s chronographs. That was a pretty generic design. So one thing, of course, was the design that I found at the Christie's auction, but the other one was the name Lebois. And maybe it's just me, but I really like the name. And there were a lot of brands that just didn't have this nice name. So that's also one aspect. And you know, I know that the general advice is that in every market, people should be able to pronounce the name easily. I hear different versions of mainly Airain or Airain, which is the official pronunciation in French. And also Lebois or Lebois, I also hear sometimes, but it's Lebois. But once you know that, then it's
very easy to keep going.
Yeah. And I mean, let's be honest, Rolex is pronounced the same everywhere, obviously, but there's a lot of brands that have their own pronunciation in different markets. But it really was the combination between the name Lebois and Co, as well as the design that I found and didn't really use at that point in time, but later on, I just knew that we had to do something with these vintage chronographs, but as I see it, the right way, because these pieces are fragile. I have a few here. You cannot reissue those. These are thin. You have to do something new with it, and that's what we did with our heritage chronograph line to give it at least a modern feel, a good feeling, a high-end feeling, but still have the spirit of the originals in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's challenging, right? Because I mean, we if you listen to our podcast, I mean, our audience will know that we're kind of like a blend of entrepreneurship, creativity, and then we wrap all of it with watches. So like you fit the bill for like a perfect guess. But I'm sure it's also very challenging to pull from the archives and to bring a modern reinterpretation without, you know, I guess destroying the identity of the brand, you know, or preserving, you know, the historical significance. So I'm sure that's
the balance. You have to find the balance, and the balance when comparing. Sorry that I interrupted you, but the balance between Lebois and Airain, it's really different. Finding the balance for the as I see it, the right watch, and I'm happy with everything that we made until now. Of course, it's up to the end customer to decide whether he or she wants to buy it. But it starts with a good feeling as a creator, that you are at least happy with what you've created.
And I'm curious too about that revival process. You know, I mean, obviously there's more to, you know, just slapping a a movement in there, Le Jour Pareil, and now it's, I'm sure you're probably having to rebuild, 3D models and
Mhm.
mess with tolerances and
Yeah.
you're figuring out things don't work the way that they probably did back in the day, and maybe even suppliers, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
some of the suppliers that, I mean, you're having to figure out these problems like in real time. I'm sure if you could lean into that a little.
Yeah. I mean, um, fortunately, we're not working with the same suppliers as we did 11 years ago. But it's not that those were not the right suppliers. It's just that we have evolved past using
Sure,
or have the legitimacy to use that supplier because they're for smaller batches.
sure,
Uh,
sure.
and but yeah, let's knock on wood. But we were quite lucky with the suppliers that we found during the whole journey, and yeah, with the suppliers that we're sticking with them for the foreseeable time. And of course, there's always issues in the whole, as you say, with tolerances, with dimensions. I remember actually about the submarine that you're having or wearing. I actually was in Switzerland in just before we really had to give a go on the production. And as you might know, I mean, you can do sampling, etc. It's all
Yeah,
possible, but actually, a sampling process, and that's also something that I learned. A sampling process is only to have like the 0.5%, 0.5% um, acknowledgement, or what's the correct word
proof
for
of
that?
concept, I guess.
Yeah, well, actually, you have to already be super confident based on your drawings and your 3D rendering and your
Yeah,
3D model,
yeah.
because when you go into the sample process and that's something I did learn the hard way with
Expensive.
especially colors for dials. Yeah, expensive is one thing, but the process, it takes you months and months to do
To-
over.
totally.
And so you really have to make sure that, and that's also some advice that I got from other suppliers, you really have to be able to dream and to see the watch in front of you when you look at the technical drawings. Because when you know it's good on the technical drawing, it will, like like I said, 99.5%, it will be good when it turns out in real life. And you cannot go into the sample process too easy, like, oh, let's make a sample. You can do that with like a 3D printed model, just maybe for some case dimensions or something. And so
Sure.
that's what we did with the submarine. I was not happy with the depth of the dial compared to the bezel. And I remember some people saying to me, "Ah, Tom, it's fine. You'll see." I said, no, it's not fine. We have to reconsider. We have to we really have to try to keep it as as slim as possible. And I think in the end, with the technical guy who's in Switzerland, so our technical development is there also with our supplier, and
Mm.
he said, no problem, you're here. So we were behind this computer like 1.5 2 hours, and we actually redid the whole case. And we made it like 0.4 0.4 millimeters thinner, so comparing the dial against the bezel. And yeah, to me that was the acknowledgement, or the validation. Okay, now it's okay. Now it's okay to start the samples, and we know like 99.5% sure, or even more, that the end product is how we want it to be. Because again, if you see the product and it has been sampled and you have to redo, then you're looking at 6 months plus extra, and it's, yeah, time is down the drain. And
Yeah.
it's all time that you cannot sell watches. So it's all, in the end, it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have a 3D printer sitting right next to me. I actually put it on pause for our interview here, but I understand because I'm also, I mean, I've started designing like camera products, right? So like, I go in and I do the modeling myself, and then, I literally will try to make sure everything's perfect before I press the button, because I know it's
Yeah,
going to be 6, 10, 12 hours
yeah,
for
yeah,
my machine to be
yeah,
tied up. And then I realize like I'll have to pull it out of the machine, and then I'll be like, oh shit, like I didn't do this right. I didn't do that right. Or like,
yeah,
it's a ton of time wasted.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
And then it's hours. I mean, imagine that it's months. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
because
terrible.
then, obviously you're not the final kind of, it's not like you're sitting there like doing everything yourself. Obviously you have to work
Wow.
with your suppliers or
Yeah,
partners, and,
yeah,
you have to wait. I mean, you're on different time zones, and I mean, it's a lot
yeah.
more. Um, No, and I mean, specifically, I can speak on the Submarine now, because I think I've had it maybe for like a year now. I can't remember
Yeah, I think,
when.
yeah. We started delivering those, yeah, last year. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, I can't understate this enough, but I'm obsessed with this watch. I love the little gold leafed hands. Like, it's a perfect watch for me. Um, and I even showed my friend. So like, I went to Iowa
Mm.
and I took a handful of watches, and of course I took the Submarine. I mean, it's a versatile watch. I can do anything with it. Um, and then my friend Chris, who I think you've actually talked to him. I think he lost
Yeah,
his crown cap or something, and he sent you an email. And then, I mean, you had one like posted to him,
yeah, yeah.
like almost like instantaneously. Um, but no, I took this watch, and what we'll do is we'll trade watches out. Like, I'll be like, hey, look, we're hanging out. Like, you can wear this for the day. I'll wear your, Seiko or whatever, for the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And he wore the Submarine. And then he was like, dude, shit, man, I'm gonna have to buy one of these. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's an exceptional piece. And then I think he has two of them now, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, I didn't know
And
that. Okay, cool.
yeah, I could be wrong
Oh,
there, but it's just a fun execution. It's just a fun execution of a tool watch, and it's got
mhm.
more personality than I think some of the. I mean, I covered this in my YouTube video. I'm sure you probably saw,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's a more fun execution of a pretty sterile design, you know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I see
And,
what you mean. Yeah.
and I guess I live in Vegas, so the roulette date window, I've
That's a
even
nice touch as well.
it's funny because I've even worn this watch in the casino, and I've decided, depending on the date, if I'm going to put money on red or black numbers.
Oh, did it work out?
No, didn't.
Oh,
But
if it
sometimes,
does, if it does, then we'll have a cut, right?
I hope so. Yeah, yeah. If I win it big, and I somehow strike gold, and you're looking for capital, you know.
Ah,
Um, but no, you have a really great product. Even the crown system is something I haven't really seen before. Um, and yeah, I feel pretty confident wearing this watch, just in terms of, I mean, this is something like it's becoming a fluff piece at this point. But even the bracelet, something I noticed is when you're wearing the Fixoflex, like the way
mhm.
that it sits on your wrist is a little different than a normal
Yeah,
bracelet, because
yeah,
it
yeah. It
literally
is.
like
Yeah,
just sits right where you drop it.
yeah. True, true.
Um, so yeah, I'm obsessed with this. And so is Chris.
Cool, cool. Thanks.
And yeah, I mean, even going back into like the history, because obviously, like, as I was putting together content, there's a lot of rich history there that nobody really knows. And even when I've worn the watch to watch club events, people are like, oh, that's a CQ, oh, that's a
Yeah, yeah.
CQ.
Oh man,
And
we've we've
like,
we've we've been dealing with those comments a lot, on also online, and it gets a little less now. Now people, it's about education, really. It's
yeah,
it's yeah. I mean, we keep saying no, the CQ, so it's based on a design and a model of 1969, and the Submarine was already around in 1962. Yeah, end of
yeah,
discussion.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good balance. I will leave it here, but it's a good balance between like a tool oriented dive watch with, like what I would consider a great level of execution, because
Yeah.
it's really hard to make it feel like it's got a good fit and a good finish. I mean, you don't have a lot to do. Like, you don't have like, beveled edges on the cases. Like, you
No.
can't really do much. You just got to brush the whole watch down and put a nice dial on it. And so it's that perfect balance, I think, especially in this
Yeah.
price point,
Yeah,
Um,
and I cannot emphasize enough to give credit to our designer as well for that, because it's the same designer as our Lebois Co heritage chronographs,
Mm.
and also it's the same designer as the Airain Type 20 and 21, and he knows just how to switch between a tool watch, and it is a tool watch, but it's still, the finishing is still at a high level. So
Yeah.
we don't take a 90-degree corner or angle. It's still, there's still a little finish and a little bevel, sorry. And that's also finding that balance, and to let go, of course, the very refined finish of something like this, the heritage chronographs. Which just demand a different kind of finishing. I would not say level, because the level is actually the same. It's the same case supplier in Switzerland doing these cases, or the ones of the heritage chronograph.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say that it's not a luxury product, because it is, but it's not going away from the toolish capabilities, like it
Mhm.
because you're starting to see that, right? I guess we could talk about for 2 seconds, like a brand like Panerai, right?
Mhm.
Who comes from a very tool watch background, but I mean, at this point, I don't even know if they're tool watches anymore. They're very much a luxury product, and they're trying to,
Yeah, very
cater
much
towards
luxury. Yeah,
towards a
yeah,
luxury
yeah,
segment. So,
yeah.
you have to have that balance between functionality, and durability, and of course beauty at this point.
Mhm.
So people will wear it and appreciate it,
Yeah,
because I find
and
myself
true.
I find myself not wearing watches because, one of cost, shit, if I damage this
Mhm.
$8,000, $12,000 watch, like, I'm going to be devastated.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not, I don't feel like that with, I mean, in this case, I think the Airain is one of my default daily drivers at this point. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
basically, you still want something nicely finished, but not, as a
not too
daily.
much. Yeah.
No, and actually, I'm now wearing Lebois, so we'll get
Mm,
into that later. But
sure, sure.
I took the Submarine with me on a vacation in France, obviously amongst other watches, but I found that I was wearing the Submarine most of the time, because you're outside in the swimming pool at the beach, and you can do anything with it. So I went on a hike with it. So, because you feel confident, either with the rubber strap or with the Fixoflex, it'll be okay when you come out of the water and out of the sand and
Yep.
etc. So yeah, that's great. That's where those watches are perfect for. Yeah.
Something that I recently kind of discovered, and I was talking to another guest on the podcast, and we talk about watches that you have to keep up with, right? Or watches that keep up with you. So, like, it's either one of the two,
Absolutely.
and watches that keep up with you are the watches that I prefer to wear.
Yeah,
So,
I understand. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm curious to, let's pivot here. You brought up the Fixoflex, which, I mean, is an exception. I mean, mind you, I nearly like shredded my fingers to death trying to size it. So, but once I
Yeah,
figured,
I do understand. I have a package right there from like a retailer that shipped so the Fixoflex to us, stating, okay, customer wants has a a wrist of 18 centimeters. Please fix the Fixoflex. So
No,
yeah, that's one way to go. Just send us and we'll do it.
yeah, that is at order, guys. At order. Please do
Yeah.
it. Save yourself the grief. But no, once you once you figure it out, right? Like it's pretty simple. It's just like a little staple, boom, that drops in the side,
It's
and
yeah.
and it's really not that difficult. But just even getting to that point, and mind you, I was so excited when the watch came in. I didn't even see that you have resources for all this. I
There's
just
resource. Yeah, we actually have a card with a QR code that leads to our website, and
I know I failed to overlook.
it's okay.
Yeah. But I think the bracelet brand Fixoflex is probably just as not, if not more popular than Lebois in Airain.
Yeah, to be honest, we don't really get out of the I mean, we don't get enough. No, what's the correct thing I want to say here? We don't we don't pursue getting the revenues out of Fixoflex yet as much as we can or want to.
Sure.
I think there's. I mean, we don't even have we have the domain name. We don't have even have a specific website or dedicated website for Fixoflex. It'll come, but these things take time. But we actually I mean, we are selling them every week a few. So that's great. People find out about it, and it's still in demand. I guess so.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And but to be totally honest, it wasn't something I didn't wake up one day and thought, okay, we have two watch brands. Let's revive a bracelet, elastic bracelet brand that at some point in time existed and disappeared. We really only did it because it was on the original Submarine. You have this poster where it has the Fixoflex, and it's a genuine Fixoflex, so it's a Fixoflex brand that Airain was using, and so when we decided to reintroduce the Submarine, so one thing was obviously to get the Parmentier crown cap system in the watch, which also wasn't necessary, but it's such a nice invention, not necessary again nowadays, but it was a great invention back then. So it would be a pity to have just this dummy crown sitting there. So we actually improved it a little bit that it wouldn't come off as easily. Sorry for your friend Chris, he lost it, but we have plenty in stock, so no issue there. And then Fixoflex was actually the next thing that I thought, okay, we'll have to do that as well, because it just belongs together. It makes the watch complete, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, and I think from what I read, I mean, what was it? 100 million bracelets sold.
Yeah, apparently,
And
over
in the
the whole
past.
history. Yeah. Unbelievable.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's really something. It's amazing. Yeah.
After this podcast, I mean, we're a couple weeks out. I think we're maybe about 6 weeks out from publication, but you need to go buy that domain right now. So
we have it. We have it.
Okay, okay.
We have. I think when you browse to fixoflex.com, then you'll end up on the. Oh, now I clicked you. Okay. When you browse to fixoflex.com, then you'll end up at one of our websites. So
okay. Thank
but
God.
we just didn't develop the whole website.
Yeah.
We have the back end, but there's no front end yet. So
yeah, I'm sure it takes time.
Yeah.
So I guess let's talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. And maybe I guess see if we could tap into, what's between the ears. How do you even find the time to manage these 3 different entities?
Yeah. Well, let's stick with CDMLEC is an entity as well. Fixoflex, so we
Yeah.
don't do a lot of development there. The real focus is indeed also, again, the word balance between Lebois and Airain, and I'll be totally honest with you. It's not always easy to have two brands so young,
Sure.
and which such a small team. So it's a challenge, but it's a nice challenge, and it's part of entrepreneurship, and it's cool to do, and it's something that I'm willing to get out of bed for anytime, and any day of the week. It doesn't matter, because it's meaningful. It has a purpose, and maybe that's something where I should maybe start with, or at least to tell you, why am I doing this? And I asked this question myself a few times over the past years, and it all comes back to that point in time when I was trading watches and seeing people happy with a product that they either saved up for or have been waiting for a long time to be able to buy, or regards to funds, or maybe waiting time because it wasn't available or it was very rare. And that's the cool thing to see. People happy with a product that you can provide to them, and it's even cooler and it's maybe also part of, for my own ego, when you've developed, and made and put all your sweat, blood, and tears into that product, and then see someone happy with that, and sharing maybe that same vision. Okay, like, oh yeah, I like the Parmentier crown, and I'm happy that you did it this way, and I'm happy that you did the dial finish this way, and etc. That's the mission, I would say. That's really the mission for me. It's simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you probably know, enthusiasts love to spend money, or to graciously donate to causes like yours, because there's it's pretty easy for us collectors, or maybe even more so for me to see, because I'm in the industry, but to see where the passion starts to fall flat for certain
Mhm.
brands. And I've been in meetings with brands um, that from the outside seem to be very, well managed, well put together. They seem to have all their passionate people in the right place. But then, 10 minutes into the meeting, they're like, oh, okay, like, when's this going to be? You can see their eyes starting to glaze over.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it sucks. It sucks, especially when you have such a great product, and obviously it's a challenge, right? It's a challenge to not only, I mean, are you preserving watch brands, but you're trying to carry. I'm sure there was passion at both of these brands before, your acquisitions. So figuring out how do they deliver on the passion? How do they deliver on the
Yeah.
products, and how do you preserve that? Like, how can you even, process how to preserve somebody else's passion, or turn it into
Yeah, I
yours?
think I think indeed that's also, our team is very small, so
Mm,
you cannot see the rest of the office, but it's pretty small. um, it's a tight team. Not everyone is full time. There's some part time people as well. But one thing that's common is there's this passion, and I you cannot expect everybody to be as passionate as I am,
sure,
but at
sure.
least I see that the people that I work with, and I'm so happy that they chose to work uh, with me, um, that they're passionate, and that's something also what I see in when there's a customer that has questions, or there's something that needs to be fixed because something happened, or a shipment, and there you see that's the thing that can set us apart from other companies that you know I think a founder-led company, which we obviously are. When the founder has the passion, that goes a long way, I guess. Yeah. But for me, it's no issue.
I think I read, if it was like I read a lot of entrepreneurial stuff. I'm an entrepreneur similarly as you, but if you can find somebody, and this is, I mean, I guess for me and my team is a little different. We don't have as much going on, but I think if I read it correctly, that if you can find somebody that carries, I think it's like 40% of the passions that you carry, then you're in good shape.
Then you're good. Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a benchmark, a measuring stick. If I find 40%,
maybe that's good for an interview. So, how many percent of passion, compared to me, would you have?
Yeah, have you seen my passion online?
Yeah,
okay,
25%. Oh, then no, then
nope, you're not gonna get the job. Nope. And it seems like, based upon, you transitioning from, a dealer to now a brand, it was the emotional reaction, right? That flipped the switch for you, right? Just seeing somebody get hands-on with something and saying, okay, cool. Like, I see that there's passion about this product, right?
Yeah.
And then flipping into, now having 3 brands or 4, whatever you want to call it at this point. Yeah, I mean, especially brands like yours. I mean, you have to be community focused. You have to be powered by the community, or you don't have the same. I can't imagine you have the same resources as a brand like Cartier or Richemont or anything. So,
absolutely not. No, we have to be quite lean.
Yeah. So let's talk about the future here. Obviously, I'm sure you probably can't spill too much sauce, but what are you hoping to accomplish with these brands? Let's talk about, future goals. And then maybe we'll transition into legacy. How to, what's next for, CDMLEC?
Yeah. So what do we want to pursue? Obviously, we are in a what's a correct word, trajectory slowly, where we go into what I would say the main watch markets. I mean, we have over 10 point of sales in Japan thanks to our distributor there. We have a point of sales in Australia now, in Hong Kong, then in the Middle East, in Kuwait, a great partner with the Timekeeper in Kuwait. They now have 2 stores, so really amazing. And then in Europe, we're expanding, quite. I would say not fast, but decent. So we have an agent in Italy, an agent in Germany, and the other markets we manage ourselves. And then we have an agent in the US. So
my friends.
And I mean, the US, obviously, apart from all the tariff stuff and what's going on now, but obviously the US it's a very important market. It always has been a very important market for us, always back since the first few Kickstarters that we did with Lebois. Most of our customers were in the US. So and I think it's part of the pioneership, even here, like in the Netherlands and Holland, where we are based, we don't sell a lot of watches just because we're Dutch. No, we sell them way more easy in all these other markets like the UK, France, because of the history maybe of the both brands, Japan and the US, because people maybe dare more to take on such a watch. And also Germany, it's quite good. That's something that I didn't expect. But we sell quite some watches to Germany. Very cool. So for the future, yeah, I would just want our watches to be, available to more and more enthusiasts around the world, because that's also why we went into this hybrid situation with so selling online still through our own website, and there's some projects coming for new pieces where people can pre-order the new models and be the first, to wear them, but also to develop, into B2B, because there's a whole big network behind every retailer and distributor that you cannot tap into except when going through those channels.
Yeah.
And that's something where I'm also excited about. I mean, we have some plans to to obviously expand around the world, but for the US to really visit the retailers and meeting with both them but also their customers. Yeah, I mean, it's super rewarding that way, and that's basically what I want to do in terms of growing the company and the business.
It's just a matter of time. I think, a lot of brands, especially, I mean, I actually lived in the Netherlands. I lived in Holland. And yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time there. But it's quite a small country. And in my opinion, even when I lived in Holland, or the Netherlands, I guess, should I say, you feel kind of insulated in a weird way, and I mean, the Netherlands is such a small country. I mean, it's
Really
a big,
small.
it feels big, but it's
Yeah,
you
it's
know
so
in your
small.
mind how small it
Yeah.
is. And it's quite an artistic country,
Mhm.
so there's a lot of creative vision and entrepreneurship
Yeah.
and forward thinking, but I'm sure most people don't understand that. And I guess giving some perspective from an American mindset, understanding where you come from and watches, like, you have such a special product that, you have to get it in front of somebody.
Yeah.
They have to touch it. They have to try it on. Like,
Yeah.
that is where, the seal is going to be popped,
Yeah.
because, I can only speak from my experience, and that's exactly what happened for my buddy Chris, right? Like, I had gotten, the Submarine from you, and then he saw it and was like,
Yeah.
Shit, okay. And then
Yeah.
it just so happens that he lives in Iowa, which I think was it watching Clock Junction? Was that your first? That was your first US
That was
account,
our
right?
very first retailer in the US. Yeah.
Boom,
Very cool.
done. Yeah. And I think I was even wearing this watch when I went in there and I showed it to Jerry. So I don't know, like, what role I played in that. I don't know if I played any role in that, but it's a small circle, and
It's it was a really small circle. Yeah.
and
All the watch places in the US, like,
yeah. But it's, luckily you have a lot of avenues, right, that you can lean on. I mean, watch shows, I mean, or, wind up, or, we just talked about this, like, before we press the record button, but, that's where you're going to make a huge impact. I'm sure that it's no secret at this point.
No, true.
But, at this point, it's challenging to get your product in front of the right audience.
And even with, you can do a lot of with good photography, good renders. Our renders are getting better and better.
Sure.
Photography is getting better, but still, in the end, we get the comments of, okay, when having the piece in hand, this is so much better than I expected it to be, based on the renders and the photography.
It's about
on the
feeling.
website.
It's about feeling. You know it.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's about feeling. It's about sensation. And funny, when I sold watches, and somebody had told me this, because he allocates Rolexes, but he's a buddy of mine. And when he was talking about the way that he sold watches, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. He's like, every time I sell a watch, I tell somebody to put it on their wrist, put their hands in their pocket or put their hands down by their side, right? And I'm like,
Okay.
that's weird, you know? He's like, because that's the way you're going to be wearing it 99% of the time. You look at the time on your wrist 1% of the
And then
day.
yeah.
But when you go in to try a watch, this is what you're doing, you know, like you're, you know, like doing all this. So he's like, you don't get a real taste of what it's like to, you know,
to have it on the wrist. Yeah. Once you have the normal position. Yeah.
because it feels different when you put your wrist down, or you put your arms down. But anyways, you know, no secret, you guys are, I think, I mean, there's a lot of potential. I mean, you guys are doing a lot right. You know, again, I don't want this to be an entire fluff piece. You know, I'm a fan. So there's brands out there that I'm, you know, I really lust over, and you know, in your case, you know, you guys checked all the boxes. I wanted a CQ, but I don't have CQ money, you know. So this
we come in.
Yeah, it scratches the itch, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah. I mean, if you can take some of their crumbs, I'm sure you'll be living a good life.
Yeah.
Joking, but
and then, you know, when someone says, you know, I like the Submarine, but it's too cheap, then we can send them to a CQ.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's go to Glashütte and then buy them there.
Yeah. Well, it starts to get away from, in my opinion, because, you know, I felt like the Skin Diver design language spoke to me. You know, it's practical, it's legible. It doesn't try and be anything else, right? It's just a functional. It's just an instrument, right?
Yeah.
And so I had the, you know, you saw the video, but I had the Walbrook, and I was like, this is something more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the Walbrook doesn't scratch the itch of a luxury product that I crave.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. That's fine.
It's for that price point. It's also I've seen them. It's a very nice watch for that price, and it serves a different audience, maybe a different purpose. Yeah,
sure,
different target.
Let's do like a bird's eye perspective right now. You know, we're looking down from your lens, CDMLEC. Which brands do you feel like need the most attention?
Of the two, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or most work, or most energy, or
well, you know, for the short term, there's going to be the most development on the Lebois Co side, because what we have there is now currently our heritage chronograph. We have still some Venturist. That those were the pieces that had the OC Plus certification. So basically was a very strict chronometer certification, certified for the whole watch, the encased watch. So not just the movement, but the whole watch, including water resistance, anti-magnetism, etc. But you know, we are going to bring a smaller piece, a thinner piece for Lebois Co, which is, as they say, long overdue. It will be a small seconds, chronometer certified, and I'm very excited about that. But there's still a very direct link to the current heritage chronograph series, which is it will be a very nice combination. First, before that, we'll bring, and you said it's 6 weeks when this comes out?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm free to
speak it.
We already showed a little bit in emailings, like newsletters, and also on Instagram, that we're going to bring a NML version of the heritage chronograph, and that will be released in around now in 2 weeks, which I'm also super excited. And I actually have the dial here. We didn't, but here's the dial.
Your podcast is September 16th, just to be clarification.
Oh, then it's old news already. This is a dial. It's an eggshell color.
Oh, it's
maybe
beautiful.
it's very hard to. This pretty. Is
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So
Oh,
you see below, it's Innemel Grand Feu Suisse. So it's done by
I love the brick.
Donzé in yes, Brick and Worlds. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that. Oh,
yeah. And the whole process we documented. So it'll be like a product page with a beautiful render, as well as deep diving into what makes this animal so special, because it's so hard to make, especially because this is for a chronograph with
yeah,
the lower sub dials.
sure.
This is not one dial, it's actually 3 dials because of the sub dials.
Yeah,
And there's so much that can go wrong in the whole process, and there's quite some waste.
yeah.
I think it's 30-40% of dials that don't make it. And yeah, it'll be a very nice speech, and we call it coquille d'œuf, which translates, you have coquille and you have d'œuf, like egg. It's eggshell. So but it all has a kind of a name to it that it almost sounds like a dish, but it's not. So this will be our next piece. Will be a little bit more expensive, but then it's also a nice showcase for us to show what we can do.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't done this design. It's a pulsation dial combined with Brigham and Whirls. We haven't done it yet, so it will be quite cool. Don't know if I can share my screen.
Yeah, you can actually.
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I?
So there
Shall
should
I
be like
try?
a present or at the very bottom.
Oh, let me try. If this goes wrong, you have to cut.
Yeah, no, this will be a
Let
first.
me start with my folder here.
And I see here we're coming up to the top of the hour already. We're already past. Like I don't want to.
Yeah, I still have a.
Just say the word and we'll press the stop button immediately.
Yeah. Bam. Okay, I'm just showing, starting this render. Let's see.
Well, I guess maybe you hear it first here. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
It's still quite new then. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if this works. Present. Share screen.
Yep.
Share screen.
It's gonna ask you like a trillion pop-ups to
But
decide
now
which
it
one.
says which one. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Multimedia presentation here, guys.
Yeah. Do you see it? Yeah, it's there.
Here it is.
So this is the coquille d'œuf.
Oh, dude. Yes.
Really something. I mean, I'm super excited about this. So it's really, and for
beautiful.
us, it's like it marks the, so to say, the next era of a lot of new designs for our heritage chronograph piece a collection, which we actually subdivided into different the different layouts. We didn't even talk about it. We could talk on for hours, I guess.
Part two.
And then let me show you the back, because that's also the first time that we have a very decent render of the whole inner workings of the.
What's the case diameter?
That's it's our 39 case that we already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here.
So here's the La Chouperet.
Yes. Hand wound, baby.
Hand wound, column wheel, 60 horsepower reserve. Yeah, this is like a super smooth operation for the chronograph. It's an amazing movement. It's really a great. La Chouperet is really fantastic with us. I mean,
they're a great partner.
Really deliver a very great partner. They deliver an awesome product. Yeah, very happy with them. Yeah, so this is what's coming very soon, and will be live once this is aired. So the rest I cannot show you yet.
No, of course.
We have some. So we call this. So this is called Heritage Chronograph Atelier. To be able to bring some, dials and styles which need more attention like the artisan or even métier d'art, as you're familiar with that phrase, I guess, because in my grand feu, so the whole process, it's really métier d'art. It's really it's super high level. It's so much handwork there. It deserves to be shown. And the great thing is there that we can really differentiate between our core collection and these great pieces that will bring. And the NML is one of those. So there's more to come in that sphere. Yeah.
Amazing. Something that a lot of independents, I guess, get challenged with is they take an opposite strategy to yours. You started off producing high quality and what I would consider upmarket timepieces.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of brands that take the opposite approach and they're like, hey, I want the most watch for the money, right? And that's a challenging feat. But then they ask how much money, right? They always challenged with like trying to reach a sub $1,000 price point, and it's pretty challenging to do. So I can't imagine you doing this, but I got to ask for probably some of my listeners, do you ever plan to kind of to push something below $1,000? Do you ever plan to kind of go down market in a sense, so that way you can introduce people to the brand and have them climb up the ladder, because you're already
we're already higher.
And you don't risk going down market, like some of the brands going up market, right? There's a larger risk, because they're like, oh, I just bought a Wahlberg for $500, $200, $300. Like, why am I going to spend $2,000 on a Wahlberg? You know what I mean? Like, sorry to throw them as an example, but
no, I mean, a fair question. Below 1,000, probably not, but at least lower. I mean, when looking at the Heritage Chronograph you just saw, it's obviously around 10K. Our normal collection, because it's NML and the whole process, it's
sure.
I mean, it's obvious. Our current collection is for Lebois, the Heritage Chronograph is between 3.5 and 4K US. But the small seconds will be below 2K. So or around 2K. So that is already for us. I mean, we want to have the same quality, and we then it's quite hard to go below 1,000 or around 1,000. And I really wanted to stick with the chronometer certification, because and that's maybe also my I'm then the sucker for keeping things as they were. We found several Lebois Co small seconds pieces with on the dial chronometre Lebois Co. So I decided, okay, well, I want to be able to bring that back, and for that you have to have this chronometer certification. So you have to go at least through to Time Lab or COSC to do so. So that's and that adds to the watch, obviously.
Understood. Yeah, something that I was joking with my buddy Chris about was even the warranty, like getting the watch in and activating the warranty is a freaking experience in itself.
With the certificate, the NFT certificate.
And like this metal plated like card, and then you go and you register, and then you see pictures of your watch when it came off the assembly line, and it's like
and you can have it on your phone as well. Huh? Do you have that as well?
No, I actually don't have that.
Okay, so you can have the certificate on your phone.
It's freaking cool. It's freaking cool, right? Yeah, no, I mean, just such an experience.
These are my watches.
It's such an experience.
So it can sit right there as along with your IKEA family card. So
no, I don't think I added that. I don't think I added that.
I can do it. Yeah.
And so let's talk about, I guess, I kind of want to, I know we're getting to the top of the time here. I'm sure you probably had an experience with maybe a customer, that sticks to top of mind. I'd be curious if you could even just share that with us. Maybe somebody said something to you and you just, were maybe captivated by their words. Or maybe they had
In a positive, you mean, or
yeah,
negative?
yeah. I mean, either way.
Oh.
I think the positive is probably the
let
side.
me get there.
But no. I mean, obviously, when you're living life, you come into contact with unique people from all different walks of
Absolutely.
the world, and
Yeah.
there's certain things that people have said to me that I think I'll carry for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So maybe you've had a moment like that, with either brand. I think
Yeah.
it'd be cool if you could share that. And then, I guess I'll save my hardest question for last. But
Oh, the hardest question. Okay. You should have sent the questions up front. No, that's fine.
yeah, sorry.
No. I mean, I'm totally transparent. Luckily, most of the experience by far are positive. Obviously, also the negative ones, where you just cannot, under certain circumstances, either in your control or out of your control, you just cannot satisfy a customer and you lose them, and that's very hard, to be honest, because I consider myself a fair and humble person, but it has happened. So, and that's a pity, but luckily, I think that happened like, I think in all 11 years 1 or 2 times. But it sticks. Luckily, the positive ones stick as well. And maybe one of the most interesting, and there are several, one of the most interesting things that we did was not actually selling a watch, but restoring a watch for someone. So, and we actually documented the watch in question. We made pictures, and it's also in our, what we call the Horological Herald, so our little newspaper that we ship out with watches, and you can actually browse it online at cdmlec.com. And this, I mean, we get fairly a lot of people asking, okay, I inherited this Lebois Co or Airain piece. Can you tell me what it's worth? Yeah, of course we cannot. We cannot say anything about what something is worth, because we're not experts in that.
Yeah.
But in this scenario, someone contacted me and said, okay, I have this watch. It's a gold Lebois Co piece, and I want to restore it. Okay. Tell me, what are the possibilities? And he shipped it to us. And it was actually, he inherited this piece from his uncle. And the story, as he told me, was that his uncle got it on a trip in Switzerland with his father. So it was a gift so super long ago. Like this was a chronograph gold, and it was 80 years old at least.
Wow.
And I can show you a picture.
Yeah.
Let me start a folder again.
Yeah.
And it was that was such a personal piece for that customer, but also for us, because it gave us the opportunity to tap into and be part of that story, and to be able to honor the wish of the customer to restore the watch as it would have looked, because it was in quite bad shape, and to restore it to almost the condition as what it should have been, or would have been, when his uncle got it from his father back then in Switzerland. So that was a very cool cool thing to do. It was super expensive, and we actually was so expensive that we really, I think we only made a little margin, but it wasn't important. It
Sure.
was just to be part of that story and to be able to do that for that customer. I just have to browse real quickly in my whole.
For those who are listening on Apple or Spotify, you're gonna have to want to jump into YouTube to see some of the cool stuff that we've been showing off here.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, number. Yeah, I think so.
That's
So,
crazy.
okay,
How long
let's.
did it take you for you guys to restore it?
It actually took quite some months. Yeah, but luckily that I'm not sure that he will take the challenge again, or we have an expert watchmaker that was friendly enough to do so.
Oh man, you're gonna have to zoom in.
This is something, yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go.
And I mean, all the the gold locks were so thin, and that's also what I wanted to tell about. The heritage chronograph. You can see the inspiration that we take from these pieces, but this is not a watch that you can reissue like this with the thin logs and thin case. It's not. I don't think there's a case manufacturer that's willing to do so nowadays. But so that's why we take inspiration from these, and for the looking at the Submarine and the Type 20, those are so close to the originals. Because these are different watches out of different eras, like 50s, 60s. Those are
right,
and these are those are meant to be tool watches back then as well. So yeah, this is this was Mr. Dzanguti, if I correctly pronounce his name, his watch, which we restored. And then we, also the case back, amazing
holy
piece.
crap.
Yeah,
I bet he was like through the roof when he got it back.
Yeah, I was super excited. Yeah, really super excited.
I hope you filmed this too, because this is just like the type of journey that we all want to be a part of,
Yeah, we actually didn't. I know. No, we didn't film it. No.
Next time.
And I can also show you the movement inside there. Let's see.
What were were you guys using Lemania calibers back then? Is that what was
no,
the standard?
there's a lot of Valjoux and Venus movements.
Okay. Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, so this is it's quite a nice story. Apart from, obviously, we did some nice. We even did some piece uniques for some people that we don't show, on our website. But I mean, and each of them, a lot of times people don't ask us for a piece unique just to have a piece unique. There's most of the time there's a story behind that.
Sure.
And then it feels really like an honor to be part of that story.
Yeah.
And an honor that they chose us. So yeah.
So actually, I'm going to slip one more question in since I got you. How do you measure success? Not necessarily commercially, but it brings up a question. Measuring by customer connection, emotional, connection. Like how do you, as a founder, measure success within your brands? Not necessarily just on paper.
No, I can relate to that. I mean, by seeing, and I do a rewind to the point in time that I was actually in a parking lot with my then girlfriend, now wife, waiting for the first Kickstarter to end. in 2014, 2015.
Mm.
Because it was during, I don't, no, it wasn't actually on a park. No, that was at home. Now no, it was on a parking lot. Yeah, it was on a parking lot. Waiting for the Kickstarter to end and to being able to say, okay, we succeeded, because the Kickstarter, those are most of the time meant to cover cost and not to make a profit.
Yeah.
Because the profit that we made, we threw a dinner party for everyone that wanted to come, and some people came, and the budget, we had enough budget, to cover the shipping costs, etc. And the final budget, we paid for the dinner. But so the success factor there was that you reached the end goal. That was a successful project, and you were able to take the next step and to go in production and to make these people happy with their watch. Yeah, there we have it again. To make people happy with their watch, as long as people are happy with the things that we come up with and produce, and they like it. Yeah, that's a success. And of course, I mean, we're now investor backed, and I'm on board with. I've asked these investors to come on board and to build this as a company, and it's a different dimension when you really started as a business, but it's still the passion and that drives it, and the I think when you can achieve that people are happy with your product, then result in terms of numbers, money, profit, etc., it will come. But it's obviously it's a different game when you turn this hobby, which it was at first, into a company. That's obviously different. But in the end, I'm so grateful that I'm able to do this all day long. And with that, feeding my family, and it's a dream come true. So yeah,
it shows, man. It shows. I really mean that.
Thanks.
Final question, so you can get to your meeting. And this is probably the hardest one.
Now the hardest is coming. Okay. Thought we already.
If you could wear just one of your own watches for the rest of your life, I have to ask it.
And I have to choose here or there. Well, maybe this one is.
Well, let's just put it in this perspective. You don't have to, but hypothetically,
one of these. Oh man, just one.
Yeah. You could even start off by saying, is it gonna be a Lebois, or is it gonna be Airain? I think I know you're gonna go Lebois.
You would say so, huh?
I think so. I hope so. I don't know. I mean, I don't hope so, but I think so.
I have such a big love for the Type 20.
The Airain Type 20 or the?
Yeah. Our Type 20. No, I mean, the Type 20 is for Airain, the Type 20 is what, at least that's how I see it, and how I approach it. It's what the Speedmaster is for Omega, because it has the credibility and the legitimacy to be on the wrist of the French army pilots. So, and we have one vintage piece in our possession, where we know that it was in possession, and it was a tool for a pilot in the army, which is so cool, considering you don't know where this pilot is now. Is he still alive, etc.? What has he done with it? How many hours of work flight has this watch done? But it's still there, and we have it. So that's super cool. So there's the whole Type 20 story is very special to me. But maybe indeed for being to be able to only choose one piece, I would maybe go for the Lebois Co piece that we made to be as close to the Christie's watch as possible.
Mm.
And that's our ref 324.497, which I can show. Do I
Yeah.
have it here?
Hopefully it's within reach.
No, it's not here. No. Let's just get a digital image. No problem. Let me just. I'll go on the website and show.
Yeah, that's
I mean
fine.
that's and I then you can also see the vintage piece that I'm talking about. Share screen.
Yeah, this conversation has been, in my opinion, nothing short of enjoyable, amazing, and everything in between. Oh
So
yeah.
so this is our ref 324.497. We call it Heritage Corner numeral because of the many numbers there. And this is, I think it's called versatile because there's, you have black in there, blue, cream,
Punch in real quick
red.
if you can.
Sorry,
I said punch in if you like. Do your little zoom thing there.
can I do it?
Oh yeah, yeah. There
Oh
you,
yeah.
Oh okay. There we go. Oh yeah.
So this
Smoke show.
It's very it's a very easy watch, and there's the piece that where we took the inspiration from, the one at the Christie's auction. So it's not one-on-one, but you could see where it came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I had to choose one, and this is, ever since I got back from France wearing the Submarine, I have this Indian, the collaboration watch with Indian motorcycle on my wrist.
Oh yeah.
And this is the only one that we have left here, so I'm very careful with that. So that's why I don't wear it a lot. But this is also super easy to wear. So I have a little bit of thing for the cream dials, and that's maybe also the coquille d'œuf that I really hope to be wearing soon. But yeah, so I would choose this one, I guess. Yeah.
I
But
can't fault you in any way because that is an epic choice, and
but
that is
then I would also say, okay, I also need a Type 20 and a diver because
okay. I'll let you have the diver too.
okay, cool.
Tom, I can't thank you enough for spending so much time with us.
Thank
giving
you
us
for having me.
peeling back the curtain. This has been a long time coming. I'm very humbled to have acquainted with you and to have you on, and this conversation was nothing short of amazing in my opinion, as I expected. And obviously I'm gonna,
because of the host. It's because of the host.
Oh, come on. It's because of the guest. I try not to talk as much. Because I'm a listener, right? But super fun, super amazing.
Thank you.
I hope all of our listeners made it to the end, and obviously I think and again, I don't want this to be a fluff piece. I try not to fluff too much, but your watches are very special. I can tell that there's a lot of passion that goes into your product, and just seeing, like I said, when in Geneva, I didn't even have a chance to even come say hi to you because you were so busy. And
next time,
it's well deserved.
We'll do that coffee.
Yeah, no, it's well deserved. Your success is amazing, and your story, and I can't wait to see, and continue to follow you guys, and hopefully in the future, I'll be able to bring some more watches in, to do some more content with you guys, and continue forward. So
thank you.
Tom,
my pleasure, and was great to be on the show.
Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you very soon, buddy.
Thanks. Cheers.